Good afternoon, and welcome to Inputting IEPs into eSped. This session of Inputting IEPs into eSped is to help you learn to input your PLAFs and your IEP goals and/or objectives into the eSped system. While I will not go into detail on how to write PLAFs or your IEP goals and objectives, we will explore where and how to input that data into eSped. How to write a PLAF and IEP goals and/or objectives is a different training. By this time, you should already have access to the system. If not, please have your assessment specialist contact me and we can get the process started. To log on to eSped, you will use your Aldine email address as your username. Your password is something that you selected when you got into eSped for the first time. To start inputting your PLAFs and IEP goals and/or objectives, you need to be in the ArdForms app, which is located on the left side of the dashboard after you log onto eSped. Once you click on the ArdForms, you will select the student. After you click the student's name, you will get to the FERPA screen. At this time, you're going to want to select the first one, which is I am writing the student's IEP, as that is what you're going to do. You want to write the student's PLAF and IEP. As with any other app in eSped, the first screen is the student information screen. From here, you will click on the screen drop-down and select Development of IEP/Transition screen. On the Development of IEP/Transition screen, you will note that you can view the transition and graduation information but not edit anything there. It is read only. You are going to use the present levels of academic achievement and functional performance section of that screen to input your PLAFs. Let's look at the boxes. The subjects are listed there. Most are self-explanatory. However, functional is for those areas such as PPCD or SPPCD or the SLC classes. They use that box. Behavior is usually where you will find the PLAFs for counseling IEPs or anything related to behavior. The other box is where you will input the science and social studies PLAFs. Adaptive PE also utilizes the other box. Note that there are what looks to be empty boxes or pages. If something is written there, this page will be grayed out. If it is grayed out and you wanted to see what was there, click on the plus sign. That does not open the box but will preview what is there. To close it out, click on the minus. To go to the text box for that particular subject, click on the page and it will pull up the text box. This text box holds about 500,000 characters. That's over 25 pages of data. Of course, you do not want to give me a PLAF with that much data, but it shows that you can add quite a bit. It gives you the space to add graphs, charts to your PLAF data. However, you can't simply copy and paste data in this box. It may affect your ability to print the PLAF. If you want to copy something into the PLAF other than a Word document, you need to use the Add Image button along the row at the top. Please note that in the text box, I can bold, italicize, and underline. I can use lists with numbers or dots. I can change the alignment as well as the font and size. My recommendation is that you use anything but Comic Sans. It's just not a professional looking font. Otherwise, the others are fair game. As far as font size goes, I would suggest selecting a 12 or a 14. Please do not use anything lower than a 12 as it is difficult to read. Remember that your assessment specialist may change the font and/or size to make the paperwork look organized. Check with them to see what they would like for you to use in this box. While you are inputting your PLAF, make sure that you have the 5 basic components of the PLAF listed along with the data. They are the disability impact statement, the review of data, the analysis of data or the 3 strengths, previous goal review, which you may or may not have. You will not have a previous goal review if it is initial referral or a student, because basically if they're new to special ed, They don't have a previous goal. And then last but not least, your baseline data. You can either free type in the space or you can copy and paste from a Word document. Now let's say you were in the other box inputting your science PLAF. It does not matter which one goes first, science or social studies, or even adaptive PE. He who enters first goes first. You will list the subject before inputting your PLAF and then draw a line across the page after you enter the PLAF. Once you finish, you click on Save and it will return you to the previous screen. If you click on Save and Continue, it will save your work and leave you in the text box. If you do not make any changes and want to get out of the text box, click on Cancel. Also watch your spacing. If there's too much space, you may have problems printing. Once you finish your PLAF, go to the next one until you get them all input. When you are finished with all your PLAFs, you can either click the Next button to go to the Measurable Annual Goals screen, or you can click on the drop-down and select the screen from there. Here is where you will write your IEP goals and objectives. For a new annual ARD, and if you were the first person to write an IEP, you will see a big light blue box. Once IEPs are written, they will show up here. So to get started, click on the Add New Goal button. First, you will need to give the goal a number. You will number them by subjects. Your subjects and the numbers are listed in your handout. Next, you will put in the dates for duration. The first date will be the date of the ARD meeting. The duration date will be the next calendar year minus 1 day. For example, my ARD is scheduled October 1st, 2017. My duration date would be September 30th, 2018. On the right side, you will see a set of boxes. Draft, ESY, accepted by ARD committee, etc. Leave these boxes blank. If you click the draft button and it is not removed before the file is made active, you will be unable to print your IEPs and/or the updates. I let the assessment specialist know that I train y'all to leave those blank, so they are aware. You will also want to skip the Add Modifications and Accommodations box. Next, you will select the language, which is going to be English. Your goal focus is your subject focus, and try to be generic. For example, instead of Algebra 1, you will put Math. Grade level. You want to put the current grade level, and you must enter a grade level. If you do not, you're going to have problems looking for your TEKS in the goal constructor when you're going to be looking at the behavior and objective. Now, there are many ways to input your goal. Some people put this information in a Word document and copy and paste it in here. Some people free write their goal, or you can use the eSped goal constructor. I'm going to explain how to use the goal constructor. It's kind of like a wizard that's going to help you form your goal. Once you get to the goal constructor, you will want to use the drop downs to answer the 4 areas: time frame, condition, behavior objective, and criteria. And when you click on the drop down with time frame, you can use what is there, or you can click on the new button and add one that you want. We recommend that you use by the end of 36 instructional weeks or by the next annual ARD. Check with your assessment specialist for their preference. The second box, the condition, this is what modifications and/or accommodations the student uses in that particular class. You do not need to list all accommodations and modifications that the student receives, just what they need for that particular subject. Let's say the student has math charts, calculators, blank graphic organizer, and a dictionary for their modifications and accommodations. But I'm writing an IEP for math. I may use the math charts and calculator, but not the dictionary or blank graphic organizer. So I'm going to only list math charts and calculator. Now for the third box, the behavior objective. This is where you may click on Find TEKS. When you do, it gives you a box where you will locate the TEKS standard that you will use for this particular IEP. You will want to find the TEKS that matches the baseline in your PLAF, because remember, once you finish that PLAF, your baseline should be your new goal. So you want to make sure that your TEK matches that baseline. Or you can choose New and type in the behavior statement, which could possibly be from your baseline. If you did not list a grade level, the TEKS box will not know which TEKS to pull up. So make sure that you put the grade level in the above box. Now the last box, the criteria, is going to be your mastery level. Once more, you have a drop down with some suggestions. You can always select one and edit it in the big box. Note that as I complete each area, the goal is added to the measurable annual goal box. I can also go into that box and make adjustments and edit. You may have to change the student's name or add the student's name. Remember that the goal constructor is one way to input your goals. You can also free type or copy paste from a Word document. Next, you will select the implementer. The implementer is special ed teacher or whoever is applicable. Some examples could be for inclusion. It's going to be general education / special ed teacher. The special ed counselor would be the special ed counselor. The PPCD teacher would be a special education teacher. And if you had a speech path that was working with a particular teacher, let's say PPCD, I could use PPCD teacher / SLP. If the selection you need is not listed there, you can always click on New. The text box will pull up and you can type something in. Then you look at methods for evaluation. Once more, there are drop downs for each section. We've tried to make it easy for everyone by using classroom assignments. We do recommend that you use classroom assignments as it covers anything and everything that's going to be used in that classroom. It's going to cover teacher-made tests, homework, worksheets, quizzes, projects, etc. However, you may list what you want to use. You could list data collection, you could type in charting with New, you could put observations. Just remember that what you list is what you have to use when you get ready to look for data for the data collection. If you list 4 things, then you must use all 4 for your data to update the IEPs, not just a few of them. That's an and list, not an or list. Then the last box is periodic reports on the progress the student is making toward meeting the annual goal will be provided. And for this, you've only got one choice. It's concurrent with the issuance of report cards. Because remember, when do we update IEPs? We update them at the end of the grading period with report cards. Now, if you're writing a goal-only IEP, you're finished. You're done. You just go back up to the top and you click on Save. The criteria for a goal-only IEP is the class where the student does not receive an alternate or modified curriculum. If the student receives modifications, they cannot have a goal-only IEP. They must have at least 2 objectives. Now you can see once you add your IEP, it lists them in the light blue box. Also, once you click Save, it returns you to the Measurable Annual Goals screen. This is the only place where you must click on Save. In any other part of eSped, it will automatically save when you change screens. This is the one place where you must click the Save button. I call it the screen within a screen. Because I had a screen within my Measurable Annual Goals screen, I must click Save. If I do not and just get out, it's going to not keep my changes. So you really need to click on that Save button. Okay, now let's say I want to add another goal. I just go back to the Add Goal, New Goal button and repeat the process. Now, if you are not writing all the IEPs, then only write yours, and when it shows up here and you're happy with it, you're done. However, let's say you need to add objectives or make some changes to the goal. You would click on the Edit button and the system will return you back to the screen where you can write them. To add objectives, you want to click on the Create New Objective button at the bottom of the goal screen. This is basically like the goal. For the code at the top, you want to select the number from your goal and add a 0.1 or a 0.2 or a 0.3 as appropriate. Or you could use point A, point B, point C. Now, do not click the draft button on the side for objectives. If you do so and the click remains, you will have problems printing your goals and objectives or the updates. One trick to use here is to copy your goal and then paste it in the objective box. Once you do that, you can go in and edit it how you want, or you can go ahead and use the objective constructor to create your objective. Remember to use the box to make any corrections to your objective if you use the objective constructor. It works the same way as it did for the goal. Then when you're finished, you want to click Save and it will return you to the previous screen. Then select Create New Objective to insert another objective. Remember that you're going to need a minimum of 2 objectives for each goal for any student receiving a modified curriculum. Any time that you use objectives, there's a minimum of 2. Not 1, but at least 2 objectives, and you can always have more. SLC has a tendency, they like to have 4. They have 1 objective for every grading period. And you also always want to make sure that your last objective is your actual annual goal. That way, when you update that last objective, you've really updated the entire goal. It just makes it easier. Another tip regarding objectives, for your objectives, never use 18 instructional weeks for the timeline unless you are having your ARD at the end of a grading period, beginning of the school year, or the end of the school year. Otherwise, when you state by 18 instructional weeks, you're adding an additional update during the grading period. You're going to have 2 in one of the grading periods instead of just 1 as required by law. You're going to have to count those 18 weeks off on your calendar to update your IEP, and then again at the end of the grading period. Let's say I'm having an ARD in August or September. It's easy. 18 weeks is going to be that semester break. It's going to be the end of the year. However, let's say my ARD is in October. My 18th week, odds are, is going to be sometime in February. Not only are you updating in February, you're going to be updating in March. So for the student where you have an annual ARD in October, depending on when it is in October, you could be doing an update in October, you could be doing an update in December, you could be doing an update in February, you could be doing an update in March, then again at the end of the school year. Guys, make it easy on yourself and use by the end of the first semester, or by the end of the fall semester, by the end of the whatever grading period. It makes it easier to keep your data and update the IEP. And trust me, you guys have enough to do. You don't want to be adding more by doing another update. So try to avoid that 18 instructional weeks. The objective is now showing, and if you wish to change or edit anything, you need to click on the pencil next to Edit. To add another objective, click on the Create New Objective. Number the next one 1.2, etc. When you number the objective, it indicates the order in which they will appear or print in your IEP. Now, to print. You can print several ways from here. One is you can go up to the top and click on the Preview button. Once the IEPs with the goals or objectives come up as a PDF, you can either right-click and select Print, or move your mouse to the top corner and select the little printer icon when it comes up. Another way that you can print is you can click on Reports. Now, to print from Reports, you need to go down to the screen drop-down and select Print Individual Reports. Then highlight the Development of IEP and click on the Create button. This will take you to the List Reports selection. After it finishes processing, it'll say New, it'll say Working, but once it says Done, you can click on the View button. This will pull up a PDF, and once more, you can either right-click and select Print, or you can go to the printer icon and click on it. You can also save it to your jump drive, or you can put it in My Documents and print it later. It will save as a PDF file, and just remember, you can't make changes to it as a PDF file, but you can view it that way. I know that I have gone over a lot of information in a short time, but as always, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. My contact information is on the last slide. I want to thank you for attending the eSped Inputting IEPs into eSped training session on Schoology.